In today's video, I'm going to convince you why a Foxbody Mustang should be your next project car. So let's get right into it. So, a little bit about me and why I think you should buy a Foxbody is because I built a Foxbody. And this Foxbody makes a lot of power. It's a turbo 348 cubic inch stroker motor, and it's super fun. And I think everybody should drive something like this because life would be a lot cooler and people would go a lot faster. So that's why I'm going to convince you why you need one. So the first thing on why this car is so great and it should be your next project car is because of the versatility of this car. It can do anything. I got it when I was 15. I drove it back and forth to high school. When I was 16, when I was 20, I started driving it back and forth to work in LA, and it took the abuse. It took all the abuse. And then when I started getting really spicy with it, I was able to make it a full-blown project car, making tons and tons of power. These platforms can do anything. They're great. Any kind of project you want to do. It could be a weekend cruiser, it could be a drag racer, it could be an autocrosser, it could be a drift car, for goodness sakes. These things can absolutely do any task that you put it to. Also, you can put any engine into it. There's available swap kits for it. You could even commit the ultimate blasphemy and put an LS in it if that was what you desired most in life, which, you know, I advise against because it's a Ford, it's not a Chevy. So the second reason why you should get a Fox is parts. You could get any kind of part you could ever want for this car. There's websites solely devoted for Foxbody Mustang parts. I can name a couple off the top of my head. Maximum Motorsports, Late Model Restoration, American Muscle. You can find any sort of part you want. Ford is still making parts for the Foxbody, and the thing's like almost 40 years old now. It's just insane. And there's parts for each type of application you want to go to. There's parts for just strictly autocross racing. There's parts on there for strictly drifting. You can get whole new K-members for angle kits for drifting. You can get the autocross stuff to really pack the car down and make it handle like no other. You can go to a drag racing website, Team Z comes to mind, and build a full-blown drag car if you so desire. You can get any part you want for it, and then the next best thing is you could go to the junkyard and you could literally get parts off an SN95 Mustang that will bolt right up to it because it's the same chassis still. And those things are all over junkyards now. So if you want to do a big brake swap on it, go to the junkyard, get some big brakes off of a new Edge Mustang. Easy peasy. You want a 351 Windsor engine for your car? Go to the junkyard, find an F250, put a 351 in your Mustang and make way more power. It's just the possibilities are endless. You could go to Facebook Marketplace and literally look up Foxbody Mustang, and the amount of used Foxbody Mustang parts is ridiculous. There's whole Facebook groups for Foxbody Mustang parts. There's a cult following of this, and you could find any kind of part you could ever want for this car. And so let's get into our third topic, and that's the information on these cars is everywhere. So it's no secret that the Foxbody Mustang can be made into one of the fastest drag racing cars out there. I mean, there's tons of them. You look up 1320 video and they're everywhere. So it's no secret. And so the good thing about that is that you can go online and literally just Google how to make your car faster, and you're gonna get YouTube videos for it, you're gonna get tech tips, you're gonna get online articles, you're gonna find forums of everything and anything dealing with how to make your Foxbody faster. If you run into a problem, you can literally look it up and find out what's going wrong. If you have a problem and you can't find an immediate answer for it, I'm telling you, you go on to a forum or a Facebook group, ask the question, and I guarantee you there's 10 to 15 guys that can answer it in 5 minutes. I've had this happen to me multiple times when I'm running into problems, and that leads into this, is why this is such a good car is because it's very easy to learn on. If you're just starting out getting into cars, which some of you probably are if you clicked on this video, it's very simple. It's a fuel-injected V8. You're not going to be dealing with carburetors anymore if you're working on newer cars, so the fuel-injected version is probably what I would recommend to get. And you can literally learn how fuel injection works because this is such a basic version of it. It's OBD1, and there's not a bunch of extra stuff that goes into it. It's basically a couple of sensors and the fuel injection. OBD1 is not very hard to learn, so you can tinker around and start learning how different things work, start upgrading things, and all of it's pretty cheap still, so you can learn these things on the cheap, and it's just excellent. This is how, Foxbody is how I ended up learning how to work on cars, and how now that I know how to work on this, I understand the concepts to more newer cars that are way more technical than this thing is. But the knowledge is transferred over, so now that I have a better understanding, and I think anybody that works on these cars will have the same effect on them. And so the other thing that the Fox will do is, you know, if you take your car to a meet, you're gonna draw in a lot of people, and the people that like Fox bodies usually are very knowledgeable and know a lot about the cars, and they know a lot about how to make the cars fast. It's how I did. I ended up, just because I had this car, I ended up talking to some of the fastest guys in my city, and they taught me a ton about these cars. I can't even tell you how much they helped me out when I was learning how to work on car, or just learn how to make things fast, or the car fast. So the Fox does draw in people that know a lot about cars. And so let's just talk about the basic why everybody buys Foxes, is that you can still find them for cheap. They've made over 370,000 of them, are just a touch under that. And they're everywhere. I mean, some people want a ridiculous amount of money for them now, but if you search real hard on Marketplace, you can find a roller for nothing. You can find a decent one for $5,000, and you can start from there. But why people like them so much is it's a super light chassis that can fit any engine you want into it, and then handle a ton of power after you reinforce it a little bit. And it can basically just annihilate everything on the street if you build it right. The car only weighs 3,100 pounds. And it's just such a great start to a project, to having a very fast car, is why the Foxbody, in my opinion, is so great, and why you should get one. So I hope I convinced you to buy a Foxbody Mustang. If you enjoyed this video, if you found any kind of value in this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.